saying this is what we're gonna do and just closing the door since he put it on me. I still left it open-ended to him because he didn't really help me out to where I wanted to be. So we talked about it before, working on the suggestive selling and being more in tune to the decision making, but still telling him that I'm not going to make the decision, it's going to be on him to make it, but here's what we can, start to look at and maybe start closing some doors on. That's probably one of the better things. Just keeping conversation going and not, kind of tripping over myself or
there were some places where you were both suggestive and where you reassured him.
Right, yeah, with the door, yep. And then bad would be, I feel like I said gotcha a lot. Which is weird because I never catch myself with saying words like that, but I think having everyone here, and I was kind of like not wanting to say the wrong things per se, but yeah, so that, and then just in the beginning it was a little bumpy, definitely a lot of bumpy in the beginning.
That's
but
normal.
yeah, I don't know, it's hard for me to really pick out my goods and bads regardless.
Okay.
So
Help him out, guys. What were the goods? Let's start with the positive. What are some of the things he did? We said these are the steps, and Jared nailed that, did that step. Or ways he did things that you appreciated.
What I appreciate, Jared has such a kind of confident just mentality going into it, no matter what. Whether he thinks he's wrong or not, he comes off as, I am an expert at this.
He's unshakable.
Yep. And that, for me, portrays a ton in your character. So if you feel confident, that means you know what you're talking about. So that's huge to me. And you say it with such positive.
Absolutely.
I thought you just related really well. I don't know if you actually related to what he was saying, but you made it sound like you genuinely had something in common with him.
Right.
Whether or not that was BS or not.
it might have been. I think I was trying to just trying to gain ground at that point.
What were those things?
Just relating, I don't know off the top of my head, just everything during the warm-up at the beginning. It was just, yeah, this nice neighborhood, kids, and then the watch you talked about when you jumped in and you did just purchase
That
the
was
watch.
complete BS.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I figured. Just having something to draw a similarity between his situation and yours.
But that was empathy, early objection handling.
I think one cool thing that you have is your fly, from a personality standpoint. So when you make recommendations, people can kind of rest assured in the fact that they're getting something hip and modern and cool, and no, Jared, he hooked it up, kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just understanding what they're really looking for.
Right. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah, the positive energy is your biggest bonus. When you come in the house, you're a likable guy and you have positive energy. So even if you trip over something, they're not going to say, I don't know if I can get, I don't know if I have confidence in this guy, because you just move ahead. And like I said, once you hit your stride, you were great.
Right.
Positives? Any others?
Yeah, I think you overall just controlled the whole kind of first two steps very well. You were in control the entire time. You kind of gave him a little bit, but also took it back when you needed to control and move the whole process on. And just like everyone else is saying, I think you did a really good job of just making Darren feel comfortable. And I think and that's pretty much I'll echo what everyone else is saying. You just made the customer feel comfortable.
Gotcha.
To sit down and have a conversation.
That's pretty cool, especially coming from him, because he's not. That's the first time he's really fully interacted with me. I had a conversation with them in Wellesley, but saying the things that people have always said to me, it's pretty cool because you've never really seen it. So.
True. You exude control. What are some of go through the process? What are the things that he did that you saw that actually happened, right? Did we use the consumer profile? Yes? No?
I think that.
Roughly. I didn't have it in front of me, but I think I was going off from the thing.
You didn't have it in front of you. That was kind of apparent. I'm going to throw that out there. Keep going.
I thought we weren't using it, though.
Oh, no, we are.
So it's very necessary to stare at the consumer profile.
It's very necessary to make sure that you do all of the things on the consumer profile, which were things that were missed, which is where I'm heading, right? So that you're staring at it and using it, I don't care. But I personally didn't hear the four profiling questions, right? Maybe I missed them. You guys can fill in the blanks if I did. But I didn't hear even one of them necessarily.
Oh, you did ask.
So
I asked about home improvement projects. I asked
Okay.
about inadvertently the look that he had in mind. I didn't ask him what specific looks he had in mind, but I asked him if he thought about colors, design, anything like that.
you did. In fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions that you asked, all about that vision.
Okay.
So you did, definitely.
So I got 2 out of the 4, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Is he supposed to cover the warranty, the Pell Promise? Is that too far in the?
The pellet experience is its own step later.
Yeah.
Yep, that's after walk around.
Okay.
Set the agenda.
And then what's the other tool? So he did set the agenda.
Yeah. The one
Did we
thing.
use the tool?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I actually
Yeah.
wasn't looking up, I was writing, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's why I grabbed my laptop because I realized I was coming up
To
on
use
it.
it, yep. Yep. So the agenda was done really well, right? At least to my ear. Did you feel like you understood what was gonna happen for your home?
I did. I think I sort of threw a monkey wrench in the beginning with just talking about the door as opposed to maybe windows, but I thought he kind of turned that around really well. Asked some pertinent questions about how I want it to look.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then what are, Jared, you can answer for yourself, or you guys can help him fill it in. What are the 3 hot buttons this customer has from the back of the consumer profile?
Draft.
Yeah.
What would you say? So it's draft, definitely heard that.
Look cool.
What is it?
Something cool looking.
Something cool, so aesthetic,
And he wants to be able to see his kids play outside.
Safety. Yeah.
and see his kids play outside. So yeah, I guess I would put that under privacy, safety, security. But those would be the 3 hot buttons, and then what are the why for each? So increased energy efficiency, reduced.
Go draft.
He's got a draft. Why does the draft bother him?
I don't think I dug.
Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't dig.
fair. And then aesthetic, the vision. You did get a good idea of the vision. Why does he want that to look more updated?
Because the door looks outdated currently. It looks like it didn't belong in the rest of the house.
Because it just looks old and he doesn't
Yeah.
like it, presumably. I might have asked a little more, but yes, that's the basic gist. And then seeing his kids play outside, that's definitely your emotional tie down, right? For sure. Okay? And then anything else we're missing, or let's go for some of the, this is what I might have done differently feedback, guys. And be honest, don't
can
take
take it.
personal attacks, and you,
I
please don't take it
100%.
personal, right? This
I
is
100%
get better
take it.
stuff.
Yeah.
So just a little thing. So he was you asked about the sun, and you talked about the back door. That's where I just throw in, like I was telling Ben earlier, like I just throw in, hey, I can give you a quote for that too as well, and it's just been increasing my average order just because, hey, let's just quote it out and see how much it costs. Because when he talked about that sun in the back room, it's like, oh, that one's got a draft. That one's probably still original too, so that one also probably has a draft, and that one's worse because the sun's hitting it all the time.
Right.
Yeah, he teased up a whole additional thing for you to go right after. Yep. So I honestly, when I was listening to that, I heard you went right back for the siding on the front door and another question of follow-up and the color, I think. And I was like, okay, he's holding it for later. He's gonna go back for the patio door later. And then when you didn't, I was like, oh, where is it?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
I was
adding to your
confused
order
though
space.
because initially we were talking about the door that I walked in, and then at some point
You were
it got to him watching the kids in the backyard, and I was confused as to which door we were talking about.
Yeah.
To be honest, so
He was trying to add a patio door onto the order for you. He's trying to add
And
a
then
back room.
also, just to add on to that, the tie down, like the service warranty, when like she was talking about the draft, I mean, I would just be like, hey, we have adjustable hinges, so you won't have this issue again.
yeah. But the reason I didn't was because he had been in the house for 15 years, and our service warranty is only 10, so I wouldn't have made sense of what I said. I was going for it, and then I realized where I was, and I didn't.
What did the customer agree to or tie down to in any of it? Are there places where Darren said, yeah, I want that, or yeah, that sounds good, or yeah, I really like, yep, let's do that?
No.
There were some, by the way. It wasn't like it was completely devoid, but
The glass.
yeah.
Because he wanted glass.
Oh
want
yeah,
something
yeah,
different?
yeah. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Modern.
Modern.
Yep. Which goes back to, by the way, you asked really good leading, what I call a leading question. So I wrote down a few, right? So you went for the kind of 15-year, right? You were like, I can assure you, you went back for assurance. I can assure you ours will last longer than 15 years. And then you came right back in with, do you like the current design and style of what you have? And then you asked him what he didn't like about what he has. What you like and what you don't like are really important questions that get you there, for sure. What else?
There has to be more, guys. Come on now.
There's more.
There's one where he said, or you asked like what was wrong with the door. And he's like, oh, it's old, and I don't think they did a good job installing. Just dig into that. Just like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, what is actually wrong with it? Why do you think it's poorly installed? And then that opens up like how we install a door.
Yeah, I think that's actually what I need to work on is doing more digging and not just asking questions and taking the first answer.
It's easy to ask questions.
Follow-up questions after your first questions. Yep.
To Alex's point about the warranty, I get what you're saying about he was talking about a 15-year kind of issue that he was having, so it might not make the most sense. But like, and this is because it's fresh on my mind, but I was just with a ride along with Tim and Ryan yesterday, and they actually both brought up and reaffirmed that kind of Pella 95 years. We wouldn't be in business if we were utilizing that warranty all the time, but just so you know, 2 years, automatic, no questions asked, we'll come out and fix it. After that, it's like a $75 charge. But like I said, we don't actually, you're not gonna have to have us come out very long because we've been in business for 95 years. And if we haven't been successful like that because we've been coming out all the time to fix stuff.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like a reassure and also kind of like it's kind of backing whole Pella message.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the takeaways that I took from my ride along yesterday with them. I just thought it was really impactful and important, kind of reaffirmed why actually one of them had called them out there in the first place. So
Definitely.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Just echo what Alex was saying with that.
Pretty solid.
Fantastic. Any others? Good?
That's it.
We got it all? All right. There are, if you were using the consumer profile sheet, there's 2 additional information questions. I would have asked one of those. That probably would have gotten him to lead you back into, hey, I really want to check out that patio door as well. And gotten you back in the ballpark there. So I always just ask some kind of an open-ended question before I transition to the next thing. Is there anything I've missed? Any other questions you want to ask? Kind of open it back up, bounce the ball back into their court a little bit, see what comes up from there. That's it? All right. Bravo! I am going to go ahead and say that going first is hard.